Check.
Check.
done this when you, which one do we hit? The person on it, okay. We have the we have the Arts and Cultural Commission meetings, minutes from June 9th. Oh, I'm sorry, missed roll call, right there.
When I call your name, please say here. Commissioner Banks? Commissioner Keen? Commissioner Schnell?
Here.
Commissioner Wallen?
Present.
Vice Chair Jenkins?
Here.
For the record, all commissioners are present.
Thank you. Now I'll go to the minutes from the last meeting, the Arts and Cultural meeting minutes of June 9th. Do we have any, somebody like to weigh in on this? Do we have any? Did you put your mic on?
Sorry, forgot about that. I move that we approve the minutes from last meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Bank approves. We have a second?
A second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Or should you call the roll call?
Yes, please.
Oh.
Commissioner Banks?
Here,
Yes or no?
yes.
Commissioner Keen? That would be
Yes.
abstain. Because you weren't here for the, no, that's fine. Commissioner Schnell?
I wasn't at the meeting. So I guess I have to abstain also.
There were only two of us?
Still can approve them.
I mean, I can't remember. I mean, I read them and I
Right.
approved them. I listened to
You
it
listened to
all on the TV at home.
Let's vote and go.
Then should I approve
We
the
approve the
minutes?
minutes?
Yes.
Of June 9th. Thank you.
I approve. In the section under public comments, any person wishing to address the Arts and Cultural Commission during the public comments section or on an agenda item is asked to complete a request to speak. Form available at the table within the City Council conference room. The completed form is to be submitted to the secretary prior to the agenda and item being called by the chair and prior to the individual being heard by the Arts and Cultural Commission. In order to conduct a timely meeting, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person and an overall time limit of 15 minutes for the public comment portion of the agenda. At the chair's discretion, the balance of the public comments will be heard after the new business section. All comments are by two directors of the Arts and Cultural Commission and shall not consist of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during their comments. State law prohibits the Arts and Cultural Commission from taking action on a specific item unless it appears on the post agenda. If anyone has handouts to distribute to the Arts and Cultural Commission, please follow the proper procedure and hand them to the secretary. And do we have a speaker today?
We do have a speaker.
Tonight, we have a speaker, Dana Yarger, who would like to address.
Little person. Good evening, everyone. I'm here to express my appreciation to each of you individually for what you've done in the past and anticipation for the new people, what you'll do in the future, and to the board and to the commission for the good works it's always intending to do. It is not an easy job in your side of the desk in the political arena of trying to keep everybody happy. On our side of trying to produce events, it's actually a lot easier because we can make a decision. We might be right or wrong and get it done. What I wanted to express is bring you up to date a little bit on what's going on. About the history of this elephant parade organization, which is based in the Netherlands. And those of you who are here know that 8 years ago they presented and City of Dana Point hosted an event for about almost 8-10 weeks, almost 8 years to the day. And reportedly, 250,000 people visited, maybe repeat visits, that they had a media involvement of over 200 million media impressions sponsored by the resorts and their ad agency. And even to this day, and I have a little gallery in Dana Point, it's got some elephants in front of it. People come by every day. They love the elephants. They still buy the elephants. They talk about it. People in Dana Point think that there were 100 elephants here when there was only 37. That's how big the concept grew since then. Now, that Dana Point hosts some many wonderful events, right? It hosts the Festival of Whales and the Turkey Trot and a lot of music things. Each of these are wonderful in their own dimension. It's hard to imagine. I haven't anybody explained to me a kind of an event, a legacy event that goes on for 2 solid months with people coming and going and carrying a reputation a long time. Now, it was only coincidence that the elephants were here. Some of you know that I was producing that event on the East Coast and had just moved here. What I hope to have learned and to share with you our experience, and those of you who lived it, is we built a formula, we built a system, we built a concept, a proof of concept that Dana Point could host a multi-month, multi-figure, multi-image, multicultural event. And my encouragement to you is to think forward such that such a thing could be done, because Dana Point has done it, on an annual basis. Of course, it's a whale town, it's a coastal town, that has to be in the picture. But Dana Point has a history beyond just the founding of the state. There are many things we can do that will support and bring attraction to Dana Point while the whales are always here. That's my beep. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dana, for speaking. Before we move on, I'm going to reorder the agenda. If we notice on the agenda, it has new business first, and every meeting, it's always old business and then new business. So we're just going to move up section D first, and that section C will go at the end. So item 1 might be a little bit different than what's numbered on your paper as of now. Item 1 is the Doheny Village mural update and ad hoc committee selection. Could we have a report from staff?
Thank you, Vice Chair Jenkins. So for the Doheny mural update, just for the benefit of our new commissioners, we were approached by one of the building owners down in Doheny Village about doing a mural on the side of their building. And that building is the post office building, which is owned by Bob Shade. And so we embarked on a RFP process to solicit proposals for that mural. And what our next step is to form an ad hoc committee of the Arts Commissioners, which is a 2-person committee who will work with the city manager, myself, and the building owner to go through the selections and perhaps make a selection and then take that to City Council for approval and installation. So at this time, we had 12 submittals for that mural, and I would like to ask the commission to consider which commissioners they would like to select for that ad hoc committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions about it or what it would entail? I think it was Todd.
The size of the post office building, what would be the dimensions of the mural?
It is oh my gosh, I don't have the RFP in front of me. I think it's
I
80.
think
by-
it's 80 feet
by-
long.
Yes, it's 80 feet long by maybe
10?
16. Yeah, because it's a one-story. Mhm.
Wow.
And one of our newest commissioner members over there has all the proposal there in front of her. She brought it with us, so we can ask her. Go ahead, Todd.
And the budget for that, does that come from the city? Does that come from private donations, or how is that, or is Bob from the post office building actually funding that?
The budget comes from the city, but the budget will not be coming from the Arts and Cultures, Arts and Public Places Fund. There is a separate account for beautification for Doheny Village, and the money will come from that account.
And what is the anticipated budget this would be?
5,000 was what the RFP was
5,000.
put out for, pretty much all in.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we're going to select two people that would be interested to be on this ad hoc committee. We have another ad hoc committee that is already working in our commission. And it's usually for two members, and we'll vote on each one separately. So do I have any people who might be interested in being on a committee?
I'd like to nominate Ashley.
I'm interested in being nominated as well.
Do we have a second then if we vote on that? All right, a second. We have a nomination and a second.
I second it.
All right. She seconded herself.
Or either the other, oh, sorry.
We have to vote on this one first, and then we go ahead and select the second person. Okay.
So I'm going to take the vote for Ashley Keene as one of the members, one of the subcommittee members. Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Keene,
Yes.
Commissioner Schnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Wallen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jenkins.
Yes.
So by consensus, this motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
We need a second member to be.
I would like to nominate Vice Chair Jenkins for the second person.
I
Second.
second her.
Yep.
We'll take a vote on that. Unless there are any other nominations.
So Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Keene, Commissioner Schnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Wallen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jenkins.
Yes.
By consensus, that motion passes 5-0 as well. Congratulations.
Thank you. Item 2 is the utility box under old business, the utility box wrap installation update. Staff report?
I'll be giving the staff report. So 13 of the 14 artists selected for the Phase 2 utility box programs have submitted their digital artwork to Frank of Mesa Art and Framing. And all 13 of those artists have had their payments processed and mailed to them already. One artist is still painting her piece and will send it in digital format to Frank within a couple of months. Frank has wrapped 3 utility boxes to date. One is Carolyn Pelkey's Awaiting the Wind. It's located at Del Prado and Copper Lantern. Jennifer Geiger's Monarchs in the California Wildflowers, located at Nagel and Stonehill. And Carmela Hardy's Surf California, located at Golden Lantern and Selva. Frank is anticipating that he will be able to wrap at least 2 more boxes, or 2 boxes a week moving forward. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. I had the privilege today, just for a quick ride, I was driving by on Selva and Stonehill when they were wrapping it. And so it was really interesting to see not only the people wrapping it, but also the process of it. Commissioner Tom?
One of the artists that selected has, when it was a friend of mine, he has passed away. Greg Wise was a really, really good guy. And I was wondering if it would be possible that Frank would be able to get his box done prior to school opening, so we could do a dedicate. There's some other family members and of people that were friends were going to do a dedication, and just kind of, it's right across from the school. We thought timing of that, if we kind of could prioritize his to go in, would be something that would be appreciated by his family and friends.
I will contact Frank and let him know that we'll prioritize that box for
Thank you.
further.
School does begin Tuesday, so
Oh.
Well, so
Oh. We will
he
need
plans,
to-
well, he
It is
plans on
Tuesday.
wrapping boxes, 2 boxes next week. And actually he was thinking that he could probably do one on Friday. So I'll contact him tomorrow and see if he can move fishes to
Would you be
Friday.
able to contact me and let me know so I could notify the family and
I
try to
absolutely
coordinate
will.
something with that?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
It would also be nice if we could get Lillian from the local paper, to do a thing at that time.
Yeah, certainly if there is an event planned in the family, if we coordinate with the family and if they would not mind the coverage,
That's what I was wondering about
certainly consider that. But I think we'll liaison with the family and see how they feel.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion about the utility boxes? Thank you. We move down to item 3, the Lantern Bay Park Stairs Ad Hoc Committee update. And for the new members, our 2 ad hoc committee for that is Commissioner Shell and Mary Elena. So
This was actually a really great opportunity for 2 new members as we've been working on this process. And I realized by certain questions that are asked all along, wow, I'm going to give a really good update, and I hope good information for all of us. That's what I'm going to do. The city has an art in public places program. It was approved in 1994, and incredibly so, of all of the cities in Orange County, if I'm not mistaken, there are only 5 other cities that have this sort of program. So we're really fortunate. There was some really creative people back in the 90s that developed this program to enhance cultural and aesthetic environment of the city. So here's what's involved. Projects with total construction cost of over $1 million are required to participate in the city's Art in Public Places program. The minimum value of the public art component is 0.5% of the total construction cost of the project. Participation in the program can be satisfied by 2 different ways. They can either contribute that amount of money to our in lieu fund, which goes to our Art in Public Places fund, or they can pick and select their own public art on-site placement as part of their development project. Perfect example of this right now is the Rain Tree project on Del Prado. They have elected to select their own public art to incorporate into their project. So does that help everybody? I mean, we throw it out all the time, art in public places, art in public places. And it's difficult to find the ordinance online, but if anybody does need that, I'm sure Kelly or myself can help you with that. Now, the next step of the history, the Arts and Culture Commission in 2019 went out to all the parks. I think there are 29 parks in the city, and we looked at them and we made recommendations for public art if any, in each of these parks. So we looked at them. This is part of the parks master plan. And from that, we selected our top 10 projects, which the stairs that I will talk about was at number 1 on our top selection. So it's all making sense. It was actually kind of fun to look up the history. I forgot when we had done all of this as we've been going along. So ad hoc committee was appointed in September 2020. And Commissioner Banks and myself were appointed to this ad hoc committee. I had hoped that we would show some photographs tonight, but that's just fine. The stairs that we're talking about, hopefully you all know, are the ones Dana Point Harbor Drive, Golden Lantern, heading up to Lantern Bay Park. The ones everybody's hauling up and down all the time. And, you know, it's really
They get used too.
they get used to. It's really kind of a big intersection of our community. It really, really is. There's so many things, the harbor revitalization, the city and coming in, visitors and locals, it's a big deal. So we had found, and if you want to look it up later on, the 16th Avenue stairs, which are in San Francisco. And that's where we really kind of got the idea that wouldn't it be nice to have mosaics going up the front part of the stairs. There are 118 of these stairs going up there. So we've done a lot of research and felt it was really important. And I think this was key, which we were able to do. We met with 2 artists that are very familiar with doing mosaics and could do a project such as this. So they helped us in giving us ideas of what could work, what couldn't work, what we should do. And eventually I'll talk about an estimate on cost of a project of this sort. We met with Maya Tavanante, who she did the Endless Summer mural down at Waterman's Plaza. And she's done murals, either mosaic or painted, all over the world. She's amazing. So when she sat and talked and looked at it, what her emphasis was, and this is because this is how she works, her emphasis was that it could be done in sections and with teamwork. She has a lot of interns and students of doing mosaic so that they could possibly, I mean, this is a really, really big project. Just doing one step is going to take you a lot of time. So she talked about that. Plus she had said doing it in sections could possibly, and Maria Elena will talk about this in a bit, is get people really excited that maybe they in turn would see one section and say, well, I want to contribute financially to a project such as this, so maybe could move at a later time and be part of it. The ones in San Francisco, they had business names and family names that were just incorporated right into the mosaics.
It was amazing what they've done. And what I liked about Mia was her vision, her passion, also the creativity, and also the, because at the time when we got into this was COVID hit. So we thought we'd get the whole community involved so that they could contribute, because it's going to be a big project. And we do have some figures to that. And as we were getting, we've done all kinds of research, not only for the artwork, but then we were concerned about the step. And then we found out this last 2 months, because it takes us so long to meet, that if we change the step, that would be not up to code. So, I mean, there's just so many things that were involved. And Mia had suggested all these different grants that we can work with. And so that's where we are at right now. We have recommendations and to scope the work and go forward.
And so we'll talk about the grants in a little bit. The next artist that we met with is Lance Jost, who did the whale murals on the bridge and the surfers, and also the mosaic fountains in La Plaza. So it was nice to have him come, look and observe, and say what the possibilities could be there. Definitely says labor intensive, which is true. And he was very specific on what sort of edge we could possibly put on it to help protect the top of the stairs, and how, I mean, that you've got to be really creative with too. And really, in reality, it's only about 5 to 5.5 max in the height on the steps, because there isn't a lot there. So we did that. And with that, they both gave us an estimate. And is everybody ready? 118 stairs. Each of the estimates include materials such as glass, porcelain, whatever they would use that would be very durable on the front face of the steps. And there is in total 394 square feet. And with that would include materials, labor, and installation. So we have a range of $350 a square foot. That would equal $137,550 to $450 a square foot, which would equal $177,300. The emphasis on the $450 range was the financial part could include payment for additional help, i.e. the interns, and to have a team to do it together, versus one artist maybe with an assistant. But that was, so that's our range, 137,000 to 177,000. Any questions so far?
Karen, I have a question.
Yes.
Commissioner Shell. Did they give, so on the bid from Maya, that's 177, did she give an estimate of how, if she has help, how long the project would take?
Yeah, that was one of the key.
She had a recommendation, which is really pretty cool, and I think is what San Francisco did. Again, emphasizing doing it in sections, but even to a point where possibly we could find a
Warehouse.
or studio somewhere here locally, possibly, and people could get there and work together on the project. I know, Kelly, you had mentioned to me, and you heard me laugh, didn't you? And you said, well, we only can have the stairs down closed for a month. And I get that. I understand it
Well, I think we just need to try to hone in on what does it mean if she has a team of helpers? Does that mean a section gets done each month and we're only closing a portion of the stairs? Or I'm trying to understand the logistics of how the people you talk to will be working so that we can have an expectation of what will be happening with the stairs, and if it is over a 3-month period, a 6-month period, a year. I think those are, in particular, if she has help, which may be important because this is such a frequented public asset that we would want a shorter time frame on having it impacted. So that's kind of wondering if she talked about any of that with you.
Yeah, she did talk, and I think one of the things that we liked about Maya versus Lance is like one-man show. And the way that she was saying, we could do a section at a time, but so let's say a section, you do like a whole step. I have no idea how long it would take, but she can do, I don't know if it's overnight, do a certain section at a time, and she would get her students to work on this. So she knows that we need to speed it up, because we stood there while people went up and down that stairs, and we went up and down those stairs.
Here is the deal, though. So let's say we did 50 steps. And for the first portion, they do all the artistic work off base. Then it's basically, so it's really, Kelly, yours is installation time too. That's really, I know I can find out from Maya. She's working on a mural now in Michigan. Anyway, yes.
I'd like to ask the subcommittee if we could, to move this forward, if they feel strongly about making a recommendation toward an artist that they have talked to about this project, if they can hone in the concepts, the budget, the time frame, the installation, what resources would be needed. I would like to get this in front of the city council if possible before the end of the year. So if you feel you're there with some of the conversations you've had, let's try to take them to the finish line.
We're coming in this late. So first of all, the work you guys have done is fantastic, and I can tell you've got a real passion for it. Did you guys ever consider a different application to the stairs, like what they do at the big trade shows, Vegas, or when they take just the face of the stairs and actually do it's a different type of art, graphic design piece, to where it would actually have some, it would have a picture that it would give a different presentation than just doing the mosaic. So it's actually when they computer generate the faces of the stairs. And so when you look at it from the distance, it's actually it can be it can be a whole bunch of different pictures.
Here, let me pull them out for you.
Yes, we did discuss that at 2 or 3 meetings ago. And we also presented the idea of a terrazzo flooring possibility, similar to what's at the Strands right now. When you walk on the top, you have the fish that's called terrazzo. The LA Convention Center has it going up their stairway in the main part. The Denver airport has a lot in their facilities. At the time, though, the Arts Commission felt it was really important that we stick to mosaics.
Possibly for the next meeting, we've had the ability to see. Maybe we could take a few slides and show stairs that are done mosaic-wise and stairs that are done with what you're talking about, to show the difference so that we all know what we're talking about. If that would be a great
I had, I've got some of it
Why don't
here.
we just so that we all can see it, and That would be good.
And there's no way of actually having those risers done and then applied to the actual stair to not close the place down for so long?
She got it.
Oh.
Why don't we?
I know.
Why don't we wait with the rest of the pictures and just, is that all right? We'll show next time.
No, I can, I do believe that they do the mosaic tile offsite on like a mesh, and then they come in and then apply the mesh. So,
It's on a specific, it's more like a board piece.
yeah, I think what
and-
I'm asking is when whichever artist that you guys decide to pursue further conversations with, to get kind of a schedule of what that looks like.
So we would not put out a RFP.
Well, I think it's at the discretion of the commission. I know that you and Mary Elaine have made a lot of phone calls and talked to a lot of people. I think if you would like to solicit, we can put out an RFP for it. We can solicit bids from artists for it that have the expertise that the commission is looking for. We can go a couple of different directions. I'm just trying to help, I think, push this along so that we can, make this project move forward to city council.
I am going to refer this to Karen because she has, no, I'm kidding. This woman has more knowledge than any of us here in regards to artists. And I trust, so we got into this together. She had worked on it previously with Nancy. So she has made, suggested, and we called the top people that she has worked with. And there are people all over. I was at where was it? I think it was Orlando Airport, and they had it on the floor that people just walked all over it. And so I took pictures and sent it to her. So whenever I see this type of art, we're just, collaborating on the two that we interviewed, she has worked with. So take it away, Karen.
I have a question. What's the maintenance? So when you saw the one in Orlando, the art looks really great. The picture you showed me was fantastic. What is how the durability of something like that so that it doesn't become a city maintenance issue, or it ends up looking not so artsy down the road? Because you're talking about it's a riser on a stair. Those stairs do get used, and you start kicking all the cool things off it, then it's not so cool anymore.
It's an excellent question. Until I really get a proposal from the artist of exactly what they're planning to do and how they're planning to do it, then we can evaluate from a public works and maintenance perspective of what's going to work. We need to make sure it meets building code. Just like the question you had asked me about, doing some of the top of the stairs. Well, no, we would just do the inside because otherwise the stairs are out of building code. So, but I need kind of a physical plan to start really digging into those questions and starting to socialize the project to look for any potential issues that might be out there.
The only part is, should I ask for complete proposals from both the artists at this particular point, or is the city comfortable with not putting an RFP out?
Well, I think it depends on the circumstances, Karen. I think if we are looking at a very specialty set of people,
Is true.
if we don't want to pay extra money for travel costs for artists who are out of the area, if, looking at those factors, I think you do start narrowing it down to a smaller group of people that you can have conversations with, that you can solicit proposals from. I'm happy to meet with you guys to kind of help, get this across the finish line. I think you need to come back to the commission justify what you're recommending and why and who you've talked to, and make the case for it. Because what will happen at this commission is then I will take that and roll that to city council, and it would be a recommendation by this body to make this selection and why. And if you have done all this research and have a compelling reason why you're recommending to the city council that this is the direction we should go in, then everybody should feel pretty confident about why.
Wonderful.
Another question is, if she's done all this great work, we have the 100, and let's say it's 180,000. We have that money set aside to do this project.
I think the council is interested in doing this project. I think that the city is in a good financial position coming out of COVID, where the city council would be interested in hearing it. And again, if I have something concrete that we can start socializing a bit with the numbers and the time, the timing of the project and all of that, that really helps us vet out those conversations.
To answer Todd's question, as of June 8th, 21, there was currently $246,000 in our Art and Public Places Fund.
Potentially, we may be able to find other funding to help support this in addition to those funds. So I think let's ride some momentum here and try to get this in front of the city council by the end of the year. That would be, I think, a good goal.
I have
Wonderful.
another idea. If you were to put a plaque at the bottom of the stairs with somebody's name on there, or people that have contributed to this, we can get that going. I mean, if we were stuck in COVID, and I'm going, let's go do a GoFundMe. I mean, just start getting the community involved. I mean, it's such a cool project.
I think it's all on the table, but it has to get organized. And I think that, we want to start making those steps forward.
Thank you.
From what I heard, Kelly say that it has to go to city council before we could ever start soliciting funds.
Could I ask that the picture that Maria or Commissioner Banks has, can that be circulated to all the commissioners so we could see it? Is that
Yes. Yeah, yes, we will circulate those via email, and then we'll also attach them, I think, as some materials and as part of this agenda. So if the public wanted to see what you're talking about, we would.
So if we could get them circulated, then we don't have to have them presented at the next meeting necessarily. Okay.
I would like to make a, I can't do this, I can just suggest. Okay, a discussion. I think one of our drawbacks is that we don't meet frequently enough. And we have to wait to get things accomplished. So I'm for meeting at least once a month.
I agree with that. I think it would be a lot more productive if we could at least meet once a month.
I agree that if we can meet once a month, when there's just have to be enough actionable items so that we can justify this with the city and the other people that are involved. Their time is valuable. There has to be projects that are going to continue to push these things forward. If we're just coming to chit chat, I don't think that's going to be worth doing that once a month. But if we have agenda items and we have projects that are going to continue to gain momentum, then we should request from the board or whatever the process would be that we could try to have some more meetings. I think they have to be scheduled in advance. And my question was, if we did it on an ad hoc basis, can the ad hoc committee doesn't meet formally like this, correct? Or they can meet on their own, or they actually have to meet?
We do.
Correct. The ad hoc committee can meet anytime at any frequency
We do.
without having to be subject to the Brown Act. And the whole purpose is to move things quickly through an ad hoc committee, which is why one was formed for the stairs. So that is an avenue that does not take staff time, does allow the commission to continue working really at any pace they want in between meetings.
To follow up though, so the great work that Commissioner Chanel's done, if she were to come back with putting it, like you said, organizing all this, the momentum that she gains in the next 2-3, I can tell the next 2 weeks is all going to be pretty much done. They've already got a vision for it. We don't get to go see any of this now for, it's another, is it 2 months?
No, we have a meeting in September, and then I think our next meeting is in November.
Oh, that's not bad.
So that's why, or December, that's why I'm trying to push that we
Right.
get things going here so that if some decisions can be made in September, that would give me time to get it on a council agenda before the end of the year. Because there are the Doheny Village mural, that ad hoc committee needs to meet and try to make a recommendation for the September meeting. That will need to move forward to city council. There is another potential mural in Doheny Village that may be an informational item in September. That will need to be prepared and go forward to city council. We are trying to finish the Joyce Hoffman statue. That will then require an unveiling party and a whole organization of installation, including an interpretive sign. And then I would like to get the utility boxes still we're still in the installation process for that. And I would like to get this stairs project, get that moving. So
Okay. So do you
if the
think
commission wants to
basically
meet
you just
that,
said, don't you think that would be, we had more meetings and we actually were to take the action items on those, what you just outlined, which is, wow, that's,
well, I would like the commission, I'd like, especially on some of these, I can tee them up for action for you for September. But the stairs, that needs to move a little bit more quickly because the last 2 report outs on the stairs have been virtually the same report out. So that's the one project I feel like needs to get some more momentum. I don't know that we need to meet more frequently for the other 2 mural projects that, we're going to try to keep moving forward for a September meeting. And then I've got to move those forward to city council. So even if the commission meets and comes up with all these other ideas, I don't know that I am going to be able to I've just sort of outlined what the arts and culture priorities are for the next 4 months, because they do need to get in front of city council and we're heading into fall.
As with this meeting where we scheduled it as a special meeting, if something came up between now and December and we needed a special meeting, we can have it. I mean, when I'm sitting there listening to Kelly's list, going, okay, and I'm worrying about my one, right? And going, oh my gosh, I just feel that at this particular time, if something does come up and our recommendations and our participation in anything. It could be, something totally new that comes up that we can get things going. Now, along this line, if you want to add something to our September meeting, which is basically around the corner, Vice Chair Jenkins, that would just be the process of somebody contacting you to say, I would like to have it, or you can mention it at this meeting. I'd like to have this on our next agenda in September. Adding more things, great, but having to have a meeting all the time is not necessarily totally the answer.
If she has the ad hoc committee, we can't attend it though. Right. Okay.
No, but the
That's the
idea is that they have everything teed up so that you can have a fulfilling discussion and perhaps make a recommendation to city council at the next
But
meeting.
the first time I would see her recommendation would actually be at this meeting, and I can't take the time to review it and come up with any questions other than.
Well, you can, and the commission, if there are questions and they don't feel like they have enough information to have a healthy discussion or make a recommendation, you can then schedule an additional meeting for it if it's not an already scheduled meeting, or continue it to the next meeting.
So say that next September, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here to clarify what you just said. So at the next meeting, when you come back with more specifics on the stairway, and we have these questions still, which you hadn't anticipated, say, and we wanted those answers, and we're aware of the timeline. Could we, this next meeting in September, could we say we wanted to schedule a special meeting in October for this one agenda item then? This is the devil's advocate, just to further explore this.
You could.
Can we put anything in an email and send it to you and you send it to other people?
You need to be mindful of the Brown Act and
I
creating
know, I
a serial
know.
meeting.
Yeah, okay, so, but I was thinking, and that's part of this Brown Act thing, is that, so let's say we have an idea, we run it through you, and we need a board approval or commission approval.
You would need to agendize it in a public meeting to then
Okay.
have a discussion with the
Oh,
commission.
because this is public.
Yes.
Does the commissioner have enough information what's going to be acquired to take it to us to have that discussion for September? So we can actually make a decision on it to move forward. Do you know what's needed to facilitate that, and from what Kelly needs to move forward?
And throughout this whole process, we have met with Kelly beforehand, saying this is where we're at and this is what we're going to present. So, yes, we will have met. We have
Yes, we are going to
to be
try to get
on
this
a
honed
good,
in
yep,
with details.
yep. And we will have it.
Okay, so for the record, you'll be next September, or when we have our meeting next, we're going to be able to lock and load on this, and we'll be ready to move on it.
Sounds like a deal.
You got to rock and roll on it.
All right.
So any other discussion then?
Last point on the ad hoc stuff. So do we have to formally form ad hoc committees at these meetings so that we can have more meetings, not in this format?
Yes.
So I like
Yes.
to, so when's the right
If you're
time
gonna
to
be
make a
talking
motion to add some more ad hoc committee members, add some more ad hoc?
Well, I
committees?
think you would need to agendize what project or subject matter that you would be wanting to create an ad hoc committee for. And you would need to agendize it and then go through the process of nominating and voting on who will be on
And
those
we
ad
can't
hoc
do that
committees.
today, and we can't have to wait till September to do
It
that.
has to be formally agendized, so the public knows what's being
I'm
being
learning how,
discussed
okay,
at
I'm
the
getting the hang
meeting.
of this now. Okay.
Okay.
Kelly, how about under new business? Can you do something like that?
Not today.
Not today.
It has to be a
Just on
agendized
the
subject
agenda.
matter.
we're on item 4, which is the meeting frequency of Arts and Culture Commission. Are we anything additional, any other discussion? Okay, our next meeting will be in September then. Okay, so item 5, moving on to item 5, I want to thank everyone for having me chair the last 3 meetings. I'm vice chair, and I was just vice chair when our chair moved out of state. And all of a sudden, we needed somebody to take over. So I want to thank you for having me in that capacity. And it is now, this is the yearly, is it yearly? Reorganization of the Arts and Cultural Commission. And we are to select a vice chair and a chair for the Arts and Cultural Commission.
I would like to nominate for chair, Vice Chair Jenkins.
I'll second it.
I third it.
Fourth.
So this is for chair. Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Keen,
Yes.
Commissioner Schnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Wallen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jenkins.
Yes.
So by consensus, the motion passes 5-0. Congratulations, Chair Jenkins.
So I want to thank you all for putting the confidence in me having to do it again. At this point, I would like to open up the nomination process for a vice chair. And someone like to nominate someone?
I nominate Kelly.
Since she doesn't have anything to do.
I'll nominate you, Karen.
Yeah, I'm gonna nominate Karen. Yeah, I second it.
Okay, there is a nomination and a second for Karen Schnell being vice chair. Any additional nominations? Okay, we'll call the vote.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Keen,
Yes.
Commissioner Schnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Wallen,
Yes.
and Chair Jenkins.
Yes, thank you.
So by consensus, this motion passes 5-0. Congratulations, Vice Chair Schnell.
Again, I'll be like Nancy. Thank you. We've been very, very fortunate to be a part of the Arts and Culture Commission for a while, and it's nice to work for the arts and in our wonderful city. Thank you.
I'm not officially adding 2 items to it, but we'll just, I know, I'm not officially adding 2 items to the, because it's not been previously agenda, but we'll take this time before we close the meeting for any commissioner comments. So start with Commissioner Banks.
Well, I'm proud to be on this commission, and I think we accomplished a lot this evening. And I also wanted to welcome our 2 new members. Thank you for being here. And yeah, let's work together and get things done.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me here. I'm really happy to be a part of the commission now, and I'm looking forward to moving forward with what we talked about today, among other things. So thank you.
This is also a time, if you're aware of anything else that's going on in the community, I'm looking at you, that you would like to kind of promote or just make the rest of us aware of.
I was interested in if we were going to do the encore for the elephants. Is that something that we're going to discuss further, or that we're doing separately?
It's not on the agenda.
So that's not one of the things
No, that was on the agenda in June. I think we received a presentation on that.
All I was going to say is an event coming up on this Sunday at the concert in the park. There will be 3 elephants there. Yay! They'll be at the, what do they call that? The roundabout coming in from underneath the bridge. And so they will be there.
Rose Garden?
Oh, you're right. You're right. The Rose Garden. They will be there at on Sunday, August the 15th. So won't that be great? And he's going to have some posters there and really try to encourage people to get their picture taken with the elephants. Then they're going to do a collage of these and everything. So that's what they're doing. Good.
So I have a quick question. So when we have public comment, are we allowed to discuss or we have to put that on the motion? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And then I just wanted to say one other thing, which is really very important for the 5th District was able to have a arts relief grant program. And as far as the county, each of the districts in the county were given, I think it was $1 million. And so I'm excited to say that the Dana Point Symphony received one of those grants, and that Music Preserves with Anthony Small also got one of those grants. So it's nice to acknowledge that we have Dana Point arts organizations that received some of this arts relief funding. And that's it.
I want to thank staff first of all for you guys being here and setting everything up. This has been this is actually a very well run thing. So thank you. I really like my name thing too. So good. You even spelled my name right, so I gotta hand it to that. I met with Dana, and I gave him the time to give me the pitch on the elephants, and he's definitely it's a neat thing. I don't know how relevant it is to our coastal community doing it again. I do know that it took a lot of time for staff last time to produce that event. I gave him some other things to think about that I think are possibilities. I don't know if he came tonight, and I don't know if it all sunk in, but I think that I'd like to go back and continue the conversation with him about how we can repurpose the concept of what he wants to do, maybe with some whales or dolphins or something more coastal. It is a neat idea. It is something that could be done, but it's not the city's responsibility to produce events. It's not. They don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the staff. I mean, it's a pretty encompassing thing. So I think he has to come up with a better mousetrap for the elephants, or any of the animals that we choose to go do that with. Also, there's an event coming up August 22nd, the Redo Festival. So we, as commissioners, I hope that we all can meet there, or I might see you there. That event is the person doing that's put a lot of time and energy into that. He's got a cool. Randy has a very unique way of branding stuff. He's good. If you don't know him, he knows what he's doing, and this may have something that could have some legs. But more importantly, it's about closing Del Prado down in a unique way that we all can go look at, because this is going to be the start. Could be the start of something that's going to grow here in the city, and if it's done right, we have the ability to grow from and use this as a platform. So Randy is really cutting his teeth for us to see how that works. So I hope that if you're in town, it'd be nice for you guys to come by. I will be there, and so I don't know how we all Brown Act or no act, whatever it is, come by and maybe I'll see you there. There we go. And then yeah, I'm just looking for this next September. We guess we need to circulate some stuff and get the ad hoc thing. Now that we found a solution how we can continue to move quick. We can continue to get the stuff done. We now have a way to manage this. And if we communicate with staff, and if we do need those extra time or meetings to facilitate stuff, there is an avenue there to get it done. So it really isn't, it's not the number of meetings, it's the quality of the meetings and it's the action steps. Everyone in the city is not going to judge us by our intentions. They're going to judge us by the work we get done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say something before we close? It's in regards to, no, not that. It's actually about our project that we're working on. Do we need to pick other artists or can we keep what we have now? Okay, thank you.
And for my comments, commissioner comments, I just passed around the crafts fair. It has the city of Dana Point on it because it's being held. It is completely unrelated to the city, but it's Seroptimus International. It's women helping other women. And it's going to be 50 vendors, but it's going to be at the Dana Point Community Center. So that was why I brought it to attention here, and I have extra flyers if you want to leave them in your lobby for when people come in. Would appreciate that. Judy Brandemeyer, who is a community activist, is in charge of this, but due to some unforeseen things, I think I'm in charge of it a little bit now because her husband is in the hospital in New England. And so she kind of emails me every day and tells me what to do. So I have good hands in there. Okay. I would like to, we're at the point where we close
Before
the
you
meeting.
adjourn, I have a couple of announcements. Sorry.
okay.
So I'll do some quick staff announcements. Thank you for pitching Redo Market. Randy Hill does a great job with that. This will be the second one. It was very well attended last time. There'll be music, all the things. We'll probably adjourn this meeting in time. If anybody wants to go to Symphony in the Park, it's at Sea Canyon Park tonight with the Pacific Symphony. Wine, is that correct? Yes. Wait, what do you think? It's tonight. And then the wine festival is August 29th. So we have got lots of things going on in Dana Point. We've got Dana Point Surf Club has the Battle of the Surf Shops this weekend, Saturday at Salt Creek. We've got our summer concert series on Sunday. Next weekend we have Redo on Sunday, and the following weekend is the California Wine Festival. So buckle up. Got lots going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I do the official closing of the meeting, I would like to give our sincerest condolences to the family of Greg Weiss, who passed away July 24th while camping with his family. Weiss's artwork is among those that we chose to be by the Arts and Cultural Commission for the Utility Box Beautification Program, and will be located at the intersection of Stonehill and Blue Lantern. So I would like to dedicate this meeting to him. And the next regular meeting of the Arts and Cultural Commission will be held on Wednesday, September 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. at the City Council Chambers. And we'll close the meeting at 7:09.